Hi there, how are
Hello.
you?
Hi, I'm awesome. What about you?
Fine, thanks. Sorry, I had to pause because our topics were so numerous that I had to shorten it because it only gives you a certain number of characters. So I had to shorten
Oh,
it.
okay. No
Um,
worries.
yeah, so I will pin our topics on the bottom. And as people come in, I'll just pause and say hi. And I'll also save the replay for those who can't watch the
Okay,
whole thing. So
awesome.
first of all, I want to thank you, Jessica, for taking the time. I know you are running around organizing your program. And so again, thank you so much. And I think we should just jump right in there and get started because we do have a lot to cover here today.
Awesome. Yes, thank you as well. Thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited. I love talking about this stuff, so I'm always ready to, share everything that I have.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you. So, how about we start with you telling us a bit about your vegan journey, how you started, and how you arrived where you are today?
Sure. So I went vegan now. It's been almost 3 years. And before I went vegan, I used to struggle with very bad hormonal acne. After I stopped taking birth control, it was, all over my face, my neck, everything. It was just, it was really, really bad. It was not only didn't it look nice, but it was really hurting,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
for 2 years, I struggled with it and I tried everything. I tried, doctors, pills, creams, everything, and nothing really worked. And then, I was doing a little bit of research about, the vegan diet, and I saw a lot of like girls that, once they went vegan, all of their acne disappeared. And I thought it was pretty interesting to like, see the connection between what you put into your body and what is kind of showing on your skin. I never really made the connection that everything that we eat is kind of affecting us in some kind of
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, so then I did a little bit more research into also animal, the ways animals are treated, and I just couldn't believe it. I also never like thought it would be so cruel and everything that was happening, right? So literally overnight, I went vegan. I was like, okay, I cannot support this anymore for my health, but also not for the animals. So I went vegan for all of the aspects, with also, of course, the environmental factor. And that was now 3 years ago when I was still living in Barcelona. And within like 2 months, my acne completely disappeared. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what is happening? I couldn't believe it. And also keep in mind, I was not like super whole food plant based.
Right.
I was like junk food vegan because I
Right.
was living in Barcelona. I was like, there's vegan donuts and vegan burgers. I was like, I couldn't believe it, right? So I was eating all of that kind of stuff. And still, everything was gone. And it
Amazing.
kind of shows, right? Just the stuff that you put into your body, how it kind of shows on the outside.
Well, that's so amazing. And first of all, I just want to thank everyone for joining. And if you have questions for Jessica, please pop them down in the comment section below, and she'll be happy to answer them. But you were kind of like a poster woman for junk food, vegan junk food, because vegan junk food gets such a bad rap. And I personally started on junk food as well on my vegan journey because I was super into vegan burgers, French fries, pastries, all that stuff. But what is really, I think, pivotal and key in what you said, Jessica, is that even though you were consuming what we call junk food, you were still healing your body. And so a lot of people think that vegan junk food is the same as standard diet junk food when we're eating animals. And that, to me, has totally been tossed on its head by what you just said, because the fact that you were not eating super clean, quote unquote, vegan food, but you were still healing yourself, and in a short space of time, in 2 months, you just spin around, you blink your eye, and 2 months have gone by, so
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's always like when people tell me, okay, they want to go vegan, but they don't want to go for all of these like meat alternatives and stuff. I'm like, okay, why not? I mean, yes, it's processed. Yes, it might have added oils, but I can tell you that this is 10 times better than your steak. or your chicken, right? It doesn't have antibiotics. It doesn't have all of the bad energy of the animal that was suffering. It doesn't have cholesterol, all of that kind of stuff. You won't get that, right? So why not just go for the vegan alternative and the vegan burger instead of the real burger that is like just full of stuff and animals were, you know, killed and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, you're completely right. And of course, like I wouldn't, you know, recommend being completely like junk food vegan,
No,
but I
no.
think it's great for a transition, right? It's awesome for a transition because it gives you, like, this was good for me because I saw, hey, there's nothing that I will be missing, right? There's nothing that I will be missing. Anything that I want, I can just get in a vegan version. And that was, I mean, I was also pretty lucky because I used to live in Barcelona and it was a big city.
Yeah.
Many vegan alternatives.
Yeah.
Of course, it's harder if you're like in a smaller town and you don't have vegan
Yeah.
restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
But still, you can order stuff online nowadays as well, right? So there's always ways to do that.
Yeah, no, no, no. And I'm not like a cheerleader of vegan junk food either. I'm just saying that your example, your experience is really to me, it's like a testimony that junk food that is made of plants is still healthier than junk food, quote unquote, made from animals. So that's really the point I'm making. I'm not telling anyone to go out there and eat pastries like I was doing. If it said vegan, I was eating it. That was my thing.
Me too.
Hey, as long as it was vegan, I was like, yes, 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 I will have one of those, please. So,
I was the same.
yeah. So totally, guys, I'm not endorsing vegan junk food. You do what you want to do. Okay. So tell us a bit about how the vegan diet affects hormones, because you speak a lot about hormones, and that is like so amazing to me because a lot of us don't even know much about hormones, and you obviously are addressing women, and women are half the sky, as we call it. We are half the population. And so I just think it's super awesome and valuable that you are focusing on women, and particularly you speak a lot about hormones. So tell us a bit, please, about the impact that a vegan diet can have on hormones, please.
Yeah, definitely. I think the best kind of example is just taking dairy. When you think about dairy, why does a cow produce milk? And this was like something that I was kind of shocked by itself as well. I mean, logically, of course, when a cow is pregnant, it's going to produce milk for the baby. And what's in the milk? It has hormones for the baby to grow, right? It has hormones for the baby to get addicted to the mom and just be there and just really like, you know, grow very quickly as well. It has growth hormones in it. And so, of course, now if we look at conventional farms, cows are constantly basically getting raped because they want to constantly produce milk. They can only produce milk when they deliver a baby. So they're constantly producing milk, which is of course also putting a lot of stress into the cows. They're going through a lot of stress. Same thing with other animals. We like sometimes underestimate that these animals are so clever. They exactly know what's going on. So they're going through a lot of stress. Their bodies are holding onto a lot of stress. And now when we consume dairy, when we consume meat, these hormones are getting into our bodies as well. And it will affect us in some kind of way. It might affect some people less than it will with others. But with me, it did a lot. And I believe that dairy was one of the main factors why I have become healthy again, why my acne disappeared, because it was hormonal acne. It was inflammatory. There was a lot of inflammation going on in my body, a lot of it, right? And I believe it came from animal products and mainly dairy through everything that I was consuming, right? If it was milk, cheese, yogurt, anything. And so, of course, like when you do not consume those hormones, your body will have more of a chance to regulate their own hormones. And now if you don't, like a lot of women do suffer from irregularities in their hormones nowadays, just because we are so, like there's so many chemicals that we're constantly exposed to, right? There's so much stress that so many of us have that is so unnecessary. And of course, it imbalances our hormones. Now, if on top of that, we put animal products and we put those hormones into our body, it's going to make it even worse at some point. So there's of course people that believe soy is bad because it will mess with your estrogen. This is really not true, because this is a plant and it has different effects in our body than, you know, real estrogen. So drinking dairy is 10 times worse than drinking soy milk. And so if you think that, you know, drinking dairy is something that you need, this is really not true. So did that answer your question? I can talk about this forever.
No. And I know that this is one of your key points, which I find so helpful, honestly. And again, you know, women are sometimes neglected in a lot of research, in a lot of, I guess we could call it science, we could call it medicine, we could call it whatever we want to call it. And so I just think it's so super, super important that you are addressing this, this important area, because hormones drive every single aspect of our lives, every single aspect. We're not aware of it, however. And so I just think it's super important and helpful that you discuss it.
Yeah, you're so right. Hormones, like, I never paid so much attention to it like I do now, because I was like never aware of it. And same thing with birth control, right? We grow up, we have biology in class. They kind of explain to us, we have a period, we kind of ovulate, but you never really understand. Like, it's just the basic knowledge that you get, but no one ever tells you how important these hormones are in your body and what they do to your body. And then you're like 14, 15, you go to the doctor, you know, you have bad skin, I don't know, heavy periods, cramps. And what do most doctors do? They put you on hormonal birth control.
They write you a prescription.
Exactly. And this is one of the worst things that you can do, because we as women, we should be ovulating. We should be trying to normalize our hormones and really get them in sync with our bodies, because this is what we are like, we naturally should be able to do it. But because of all of, as I mentioned, all of the external factors and internal factors that are going on, the food that we eat, the chemicals that we are exposed to, the stress that you have, all of the other things that really affect you. And if you are on birth control, like, how are you supposed to regulate your hormones? You're not producing estrogen or progesterone. These two are the two main female sex hormones we should all have, and these are going to really make us healthy. They not only affect our menstrual cycle, but overall health, our bone health, our brain, all of it. And it's crazy, and so many women are not aware of it. Just, it's like, sometimes I'm just so upset with doctors that they always put women immediately on birth control. I'm just like, why not let that women heal naturally? Because there are ways to do that, and we just need to get to them and really allow ourselves to really sync with our bodies.
I agree totally. Thanks everybody for joining. If you have questions or comments for Jessica, please pop them down below. We have a compliment here from, let's see, there was a compliment earlier from M. Be Free. Beautiful humans with a heart. There we go. Thank you so much, M. And we have a smiley from Miss Dorothy. There we go. So thank you so much, guys. So tell us a bit about your coaching program, please, Jessica. I know you are about to start a new, shall we say, semester, or shall we say?
Yes.
I'll just leave it at semester. You can explain it better. So tell us a bit about your coaching program, please.
Yes, definitely. So, well, I started coaching, you know, more than a year ago, where I first coached like as an assistant coach for someone else. And it was all vegan, of course. But during this time, I realized, okay, you know, women need a different approach. And I was coaching men and women at the same time. And I started realizing that we women are not as simple as men. And this is exactly what you said. There's a lot of science about fitness and health and intermittent fasting, all of these kind of stuff. But there's not a lot of research done on actually women in, you know, that are like cycling and all of that stuff. Most of the research is done on men or menopausal women, because it's easier, because they don't have menstrual cycles, that, you know, hormones don't fluctuate, nothing is happening to them. So when I was coaching in that one coaching program, I just realized, like, hey, we women are not that simple. And I started realizing, you know, all of these women coming up to me like, oh, I was so tired this week, I was about to get my period, I had really heavy cramps, I couldn't resist eating this, I couldn't work out. And it just opened my eyes. I was like, okay, there's more to this. And then when I started doing research, I discovered the menstrual cycle. I was like, okay, I cannot continue working for this other person just because it did not it did not align with my values anymore. I was like, I need to go a little deeper. I need to go a little deeper also with myself, because at some point I also burned out because I would never listen to my body. I would always work against it. And this is what happens to a lot of women. It's like, you think it's normal to go to the gym 6 times a week, every single week, and like at some point your body is gonna shut down, especially if your hormones are already out of place. And that was the case with me. If you're good, if your hormones are intact, go for it, and whatever feels good, do it. But it wasn't the case for me, and I just constantly ignored my signals and what my body was telling me. So then I created my coaching program where I was like, okay, I'm only going to focus on women, and I'm going to teach women how to work with their cycle, right? They still get the nutrition plan, they still get the training plan, but on top of that, they also learn how to understand their cycle. So they actually learn about their bodies and understand, okay, there's in the menstrual cycle there are 4 phases. Most women didn't know this, and each of these phases really affect you differently. Our hormones fluctuate throughout this time. Our brain can change up to 25% during this time, right? The way we work out, the way we eat, the way we sleep, our moods, all of that stuff really does impact us in some kind of way. And so I really like the way I help women is to, okay, here's your training plan, here's your meal plan, but with time, once you start understanding your body, where you're currently at, adjust those things, you have the tools, and adjust it around your cycle. So let's say you are currently in the luteal phase. The luteal phase is the phase prior to you getting a period, right? A lot of women during this time have the so-called PMS.
Yeah.
We all know PMS. We all know what it does to our bodies. You know, our moods are unstable, you're tired, you're craving, you want to cry all of the time or sleep or whatever, especially if it's like really extreme. And during this time, when your hormones are not intact, you're going to experience like more severe PMS symptoms. And what you should be doing during this time is to not push yourself more than you should be doing, right? So slowing down, really allowing yourself to not go and do heavy weightlifting, but really do something lighter, do some yoga, Pilates, go for walks, maybe go for a run, whatever feels good for you, whatever doesn't, overstress your body. Also, because during this time, our temperature is higher, our basal body temperature is higher. So of course, everything that we put on top of that and we sweat, it just makes everything worse for us. So we want to make sure we really sync with our body. So of course, I give you the tools, I give you the workout, but you have to understand when is it the time to push yourself during this workout, and when should you be slowing down. You can still do the workouts, but maybe use less weights, or maybe do only 2 sets instead of 3 sets. Whatever feels good for you. If you don't want to do the workouts at all, great, I'll send you my yoga workouts, I'll send you this, right? So we really work around this. And same thing with nutrition. You can actually adjust your nutrition with all of those phases of your cycle and really support your cycle the best way, right? So you still get a nutrition plan from me, which is going to be the kickstart of the program. But with time, once again, you understand your cycle, and then you know which kinds of foods you should be eating instead, right? So for example, during the follicular phase, which is the phase after your period is done, it's good to eat a little bit of lighter foods, eat a little bit of fresh vegetables, fresh fruits. This will help your body to flush out excess estrogen, because estrogen is rising. So you want to make sure you support your body the best way. And also, naturally, we eat less during this time. Naturally, we're not as hungry. Now, this is the complete opposite during the luteal phase, as I told you already, prior to our period. It's like we want to eat it all. We want to have all of the chocolate and all of the carbs. And this is natural. This is normal. But knowing, okay, how do I approach this now? Do I just go for the vegan donuts, or should I, what kind of foods can I be eating to kind of slow down what I'm feeling and really support my body the best way? So for example, sweet potatoes are great. I love sweet potatoes during the luteal phase. Why? Because it gives you this natural sweetness. It already has a natural sweetness. It's a slow burning carb. It's a complex carbohydrate, which means if you eat simple carbs, what your blood sugar does, it rises, right, super quickly, and it drops. And it gives you this hunger, again.
Like a crash, you crash.
Exactly. But if you eat slow burning carbs, this is not going to happen, because your blood sugar is going to be stable. And so you're less likely to be hungry. Right. So this is, I'm so passionate about it. So basically what I was saying is that I do have a format program that is ongoing. I have currently stopped getting people into that because I have an 8-week program, as you said, coming up. And the start of it is actually next week already on Monday, and I have one more spot left. And it's basically a small group of girls. We all start at the same time, you know, and we're going to have weekly group calls where we talk about a certain topic and really prepare you to sync with your body, to sync with your cycle. And we're going to check in as well. You're going to get the nutrition guidance. You're going to get the training. And of course, you're going to be supported by an amazing community of vegan ladies, which I think I'm proudest of. Not what I've created, just because I remember how it was for me when I first went vegan, when I was on my health journey. I was completely on my own. I didn't have girls to support me, to be there for me. Yeah. And so I really decided, okay, this is something that is like one of the main factors. And I see it in the girls. I see it in the women that work with me. And I have girls from 18 to 50 years old, right? I have it all. I have it from all around the world. And they're all so supportive, just always there. And I'm just a big fan of it because I just really love it. And, you know, I can only recommend really also finding some support on your journey, right? If you need some support, find a group of people that are going to support you so it won't make you feel alone. And yeah, also isolated on your journey, especially now during this time. It's a little harder even, you know, it's harder to just connect to people. So having this virtual like community is, I think, even better.
Totally. I'm glad you brought up the age because I was curious if you had like, you know, a certain segment of the female population. So let me ask you about geography or location. Does it matter where the woman is located? Anywhere in the world?
I have anywhere in the world. I have people from the States. I have people from the Pacific coast to the East Coast. I have people from Europe. I have people from Australia as well, right? So usually my program is built that way that when we have the calls, I schedule them around the time that is good for everyone. Now, of course, if you miss a call because you have to go to work, they're all recorded, so you can always rewatch them. You get the support, and you have a lot of one-on-one support with me as well, which I think is also different from a lot of programs out there. When you purchase a training plan and a meal plan, you're kind of on it by your own again. Now, it's not with me. Like, I'm always there to, you know, talk to you, to send you a voice note. With each of my clients, I'm so close because I want them to succeed, and it's so important to me. I want everyone to feel supported, to not feel alone on this journey. I'm always there, you know, I will send you a voice note if you need any support. And I'm always there to support you along the journey. And if there's anything that is like coming up, let's say, you know, I give you a meal plan and you're like, oh, I'm hungry, this doesn't, you know, it's not good for me, I want something else. Okay, it's fine, we will adjust it, right? There's always ways to work around it, and you don't ever feel like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like, you know, just ask me. I'm there to support you if you have any questions. That's so important to me.
Awesome. Okay, we have a comment here. Someone said that they were learning a lot. Let's see, there's so many there's so many people in and out. Let's see here.
Yeah, this explains so much.
Yes, there we go. There we go. Thanks, guys, for joining. Please put your questions down below for Jessica. And also, it's really cool to know where people are tuning in from today. So if you could just let us know what part of the world you're tuning in from, that would be cool as well. Jessica, let me ask you a question about language. You know, I guess I know you're multilingual. So my question is, you know, which languages are available for women in this group in terms of communication?
So we mainly talk in English because it's easiest for everyone. And usually I didn't have a problem with that yet. Of course, I have a couple of German clients as well. So when we internally talk, I talk to them in German, of course. I mean, I can speak Spanish too if someone doesn't really speak good English, so I'm there to support, right? So I feel like I don't want anyone to feel left out. If you feel like, oh, maybe my English is not good enough, I'm going to support you, right? So you're still going to join the group calls. If you don't understand, I'm going to be there to like translate or anything like this. So I just want everyone to feel supported and not feel left out just because they feel like it's a language barrier. Of course, English is the first language just because it's easier for everyone to communicate. But I'm always open to help you, you know, in any other language. Well, not any other language. I mean, I speak Polish and Spanish, so, and German. So if you
wow,
you know,
amazing. The United Nations. There we go. So tell us a bit about what inspires you in your recipes, please.
What inspires me in my recipes? I really always look at, okay, I need to always have my 3 macronutrients in there. I need to have my carb source, I need to have my protein source, and I need to have my fat source, because this is the type of meal that will keep you satisfied, that will, you know, make you full, give you energy, and basically also help you not feel too bloated, because it happens a lot with women, not only with women in general, with like vegan beginners, is that they have a lot of fiber on the plate and they feel bloated all of the time. And that happened to me as well for the first year, which is like bloated all the time. And so I really want to make sure that, you know, you have those good macro sources. But I'm just very like quick at cooking as well. And sometimes recipes just come up. So I like really try things that like I don't even plan. I just do them. And then I'm like, hey, this is really good. And then I write it down. Right, so I usually don't do it like beforehand. I don't think about it. Same thing with baking, which sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't work. But I'm just like, okay, I have my carb sources here. As I mentioned, I always have my 3 macros there. And then I just throw things together, and either way it tastes good or it tastes weird, but usually it tastes good. So I try to make it, like I really try to make it as simple as possible. Also for my program, I really try to make it as simple as possible. And as I told you, like I also try to adjust it to my menstrual cycle. So for example, now I'm in my ovulatory phase, so I'm really trying to adjust those foods, couple of, you know, foods that will support me during this phase. So yeah, this is the way I do it. Just make it simple, because I'm not a big fan of standing in the kitchen for too long. I don't have the time and the patience to do that. So I just, you know, throw stuff together.
Awesome. So let's go to the next topic, and that is what motivates you on your vegan journey to actually stick to it? Because some people have a hard time, they wobble, they waffle. So what's your motivation on your vegan journey?
To be honest, I think my biggest motivation is just the fact that I love animals. I cannot imagine hurting them by my actions. I always said if I were to be vegan only for my health, I would probably make exceptions here and there. I would probably, you know, if I'm on my family event or something, I would probably have cheesecake or something that is not vegan, just because it's easier. I mean, it is easier to be vegetarian, right? But because I think I'm overall vegan for the animals, the environment, and my health, I see, you know, non-vegan like items on a plate, and I'm like, I'm not like, okay, I want this. It might smell good, yes, but I'm not like, okay, I'm craving it, because I know that I have everything that I want, and I'm not gonna give it up, right? So I think this is my biggest motivator. It's just like, I just, you know, I spend my days watching animal videos on Instagram and like pig videos and cow videos. Like, how can I eat that? And so the first thought that always comes to my mind, like, this was an animal, or this comes from an animal. And I've just seen too much, I've heard too much, I've read too much, that I just cannot support it anymore. So I think that is my biggest motivator. And of course, like, my type of activism, and I'll always say that, is the work that I do. Is, okay, you know what? I will show you that I feel and look great on a vegan diet. And I'm not the kind of person that I'm going to show you all of the horrible images of animals. Like, it makes me sad, it will make you sad, and a lot of times it scares people away, because they usually don't want to see it. But when you show them, like, hey, you know, I feel awesome, this is everything that I can eat, and I don't feel restricted, and I have all of the energy in the world to do this stuff, and I've never been healthier, I think this is the best kind of activism. And I've seen people, you know, change into vegan diets because of this, right? Because they've seen stuff that I've posted about what I eat, about what I do, and it's a big motivator. So yeah, that's that.
No, and I agree. Like I also am very wary of like talking about animal cruelty to people, because I think that there's so much resistance, and you know, I think a lot of people even think, well, that can't even be true. I mean, that is just too horrific to even be true. There's no way. I saw a post the other day. I was in an Instagram live, and the 2 hosts were not vegan, but they were discussing veganism. And one person in the chat section said something like, oh no, it's regulated. There's no cruelty. And I thought, this person is totally unaware. just totally unaware of the suffering and cruelty in these animal factories. But it's because it's hidden from us, you know, and you know, all of the business and marketing and profit behind it. So um, I think your approach is a good one in terms of showing the benefits from a health perspective, and obviously your journey is a, you know, testimonial to you know, how we can heal on plants. So I do understand why you stay away from the what we would call the gory details, because I think a lot of people just cannot handle it at the beginning. And one more thing I'll say on this, because I heard this recently, it was so cool. Someone said, you know, you come for health and you stay for the animals. And that's what happened to him and his family. They became vegan because of health issues, and then they stayed for the animals, obviously. And now, you know, they're doing huge, huge, you know, work for our animals. So, you know, I like your approach. I do, because I think the gory details are sometimes a bit much for people.
I totally agree. And I mean, I wasn't different. I remember, like, if you would have come to me like 5, 6 years ago and told me I would be vegan today, I would probably laugh at you. I'd be like, me? Never. I remember when I met a vegan, like, before I even considered or even knew what it actually was. And she told me how amazing she felt. And then she told me about the animal cruelty and showing me videos. And it didn't like hit me at all. I was like, she is a weirdo. That was literally my thoughts, because of course, if you don't approach it from the right way, like, you're gonna get people that are going to think like, okay, all vegans are weird. And I believe also it kind of happens in this online space, which makes me a little sad, is that a lot of vegans are very attacking towards non-vegans. And I personally, I don't think it's a good approach, because it will just scare them even more away. You cannot get people by screaming at them and forcing them to be vegan. It's not going to work that way. Like, turn it around, accept where they're currently at, and eventually it's going to happen. But you cannot force it onto people, right? And I see this so much. You know, on Instagram, there's so much of that kind of those kind of people, and
Yeah.
I've gotten these comments too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten these comments where people tell me like, oh, you know, you're only vegan. No, it's like, people were telling me vegan is for the animals and not for aesthetics or something, because they've seen my posts. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm doing this because I want more people to become vegan.
Exactly, exactly. And we have Vegana Valicious saying, thank you for approaching this the way you do. It does make a big difference. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree, Veganeva. I agree.
she's
Totally.
actually my client. She's gonna start with us on Monday, so I'm very excited.
Awesome, awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Guys, pop your questions down below for Jessica, and she'll be happy to answer them. And meanwhile, let's go to naysayers and critics. We kind of were getting close there in our conversation. So, how do you handle naysayers and critics who you know, bash our vegan diet and lifestyle? What do you say or do in those instances?
Well, to be honest, I haven't gotten a lot of criticism from non-vegans. I've gotten them more from vegans, which I'm like, this is bad, right? And I don't understand why. Just because my approach is different, than, you know, showing animal cruelty pictures on my Instagram. I don't do that, or barely do that. I show the love. I show, you know, I show super cute, you know, pig pictures or like cow pictures or anything, and show like the cuteness of it and how sweet these animals are. And so to be honest, in the beginning, I had a hard time kind of understanding why I would be attacked by vegans, because I'm on their side and I'm here to make the world a better place. And if my approach does it, like, you don't like the approach, I don't think you should have the right to attack me. Like, I was attacked in really weird and not nice ways, right? So it took me a while to just understand, like, okay, why am I getting attacked? But at the same time, I kind of like, I believe a lot in energies, and I was like, I'm not going to put my energy into this anymore. I'm going to focus on the positive people, on the people that support this, they support me, that support, you know, the animals and the way that I support animals. So I decided to just kind of like, okay, it took me a while, to be honest, and there were sleepless nights and crying and, you know, not understanding why I was attacked by these vegans. But yeah, I was just like, okay, they're on their own journey, you know, maybe they're going through some healing as well. Maybe they just are very angry vegans because they all of a sudden found out about this and they cannot, I mean, I was there too. I couldn't understand why not everyone is vegan. Like, everyone should be vegan at this point. But with this person, or with these people, I understand, okay, they're just probably very angry at the world because they want this to already happen now. So that is kind of my approach, and I justify it that way. And when I had non-vegans, of course, I had comments like, oh, you should be eating steak, or, you know, those kind of stupid comments that you just get on the pictures, and it's always gonna be there. But I just kind of brush it off, to be honest. And I think the best kind of way to approach these kind of situations, or also in real life situations, is just to know your facts, right? So if someone tells you any other thing, you know your facts and you have an argument. If they believe it or not, it's up to them, but at least you can argue with them and you have something to tell them. Because if you don't, you're gonna look like you don't actually know why you're doing this, right? So when you go vegan, please make your research, have your facts ready, because it's gonna happen. I promise you, you're gonna have family or friends or strangers come up to you and ask you about this or criticize you in some kind of way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a big proponent of doing our research, you know, and I mean, honestly, it's, for me, it's not even so much for critics and naysayers. It's just for my own personal, you know, progress, I guess I could say, you know, just to kind of learn more and more about, hey, you know, this nutrient does this, or hey, this is, you know, I've recently been learning a lot about the animal testing situation in the labs, and I'm like, oh, no, no, no. So, I totally agree with you that, you know, research is key, either for us personally or to, you know, have tough conversations with people, or not tough, you know, the conversations don't have to be tough, but whatever they turn out to be. So, I mean, I love your compassionate, you know, reception of the naysayers and the critics, because like you say, they're on their own journey too. So we don't know why they're acting like that. So
yeah,
totally.
It took me a while to develop that, because in the beginning I still, in some situations, I'm a person that reacts immediately instead of sitting down and like sitting back and just analyzing the situation. And I think most of us do that. We directly react. Anything happens in us in life, we just like that, you know, what is your reaction to it?
Yeah.
It's like now more and more I'm trying to learn, okay, breathe, it's fine. You know, before you answer already like super enraged and you want to be like super, you know, aggressive, just slow down and not do that. And it happens a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen in life with everything. So
yeah, everything. Yeah.
it takes time.
Yeah, awesome. All right, we have like 20 minutes left. So tell us your advice for new vegans or non-vegans who are vegan curious, vegan friendly, and they want to start their vegan journey. What do you say to them?
I think what's most important is that don't strive for perfectionism. Like, really take your time to explore. You don't have to be vegan overnight. No one expects it from you. Take your time to really explore what is good for you. Try some vegan recipes. Go to some vegan restaurants. Do your research, of course. Like, you know, make sure that you really know what you're eating, you know, what's on your plate. Like, don't undereat. This happens a lot as well with new vegans, right? Get your supplements that you need to take in order to be healthy. If you're not sure, like, reach out to people, look for a community of people. Like in my case, I was completely on my own. I didn't know anyone that was vegan, right? So for me, it was a complete new world. And I remember like being in a company where everyone looked at me like, you know, the weirdo vegan. So of course, like it was harder to be completely new, but with time, you know, I started making vegan friends, and now I feel like my entire circle is almost all of them are vegan. But yeah, just really, you know, find people, even look online. There's so many people that would love to be like at least online friends that will help reach out to people. I like even this, you know, do some research, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. Of course, don't believe everything that you see, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's also not true. And I learned the hard way as well. But just really make sure that you allow yourself to take the time to really do the research, right? And again, don't be so hard on yourself. You will eventually eat something that's not vegan. It will happen to me as well. And sometimes it still happens without me actually realizing it,
Exactly.
right? But it's part of the process.
Yeah, I really love your advice, and like you say, veganism, the philosophy and the definition really uh, emanates from our desire to reduce harm and suffering and cruelty for our beautiful animals, our planet, our health. However, like you say, we cannot be perfect. Let's say we go to a restaurant, like this happened to me before. Like, some people don't even know that honey is not vegan. Well, honey from bees. Some people who are preparing, let's say, a smoothie, they don't know that honey is not vegan. You tell them you're vegan, and and then they start they start making this recipe, and then you find out there's honey. It's like, no, 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 that's not vegan. Or I don't know, like, just other things. The other day I was buying wooden bowls, and I saw a label on it that said beeswax. It was finished with beeswax. And I was like, oh, la, la. And I asked the salesperson if they had any that did not involve beeswax, because I'm vegan. And she's like, oh, I don't know about that. I never thought about that. And then she had to kind of go off and do her own research. And then, long story short, I found some that had walnut oil finishes, and it was just the wood and the walnut. I'm like, yes, yes, here we go. But some people just don't realize it, and so we're never going to be 100% perfect.
Exactly, and this is going to happen. Like, I think especially with food products, it's even more likely to happen, because a lot of times it will, or it might be tested on animals. Like makeup, a lot of people, like when I first went vegan, I still kept all of my makeup just because I was new to it. And so it took me some time. I didn't want to throw everything away, because I'm also the believer of like, okay, I'm not just going to throw everything away just because I don't want to waste it, right? So it's the same kind of like environmental aspect to it. So I used everything that I had. But of course, the new stuff that I was buying was then vegan. I did my research, and now all of my products are vegan. But in the beginning, it takes time to really figure out, okay, and then you look into your wardrobe and you're like, I have leather shoes, I have a leather jacket, I have this is something from animals. It's normal, it's okay, right? But it just takes time to really make these are even bigger transitions for most people, right?
Yeah,
and
the
so
lifestyle, the lifestyle part.
Well, between plant-based and vegan. Plant-based is the diet, right? Vegan is like really eliminating all of the animal products of your life with everything that you use.
Yeah, and my approach is, I look at it as next time. So next time a person is going to buy a face wash, please see if it's cruelty free. There are labels on the facial wash, or the facial mask, or whatever it might be. There are labels on everything these days. So see if it's cruelty free, see if it's vegan. There are all kinds of labels. Even the supplements we take, let's see, does it say vegan? Does it say da da da? If you want organic, does it say organic or not, like that? So I think, I look at it as, okay, we grew up on this standard diet and lifestyle, but the next time we're going to make a decision, let's clean it up. Let's avoid that cruelty. And so, like you say, you can't erase your entire previous existence. So I like the way you put that. Thanks, guys, for joining. Please put your questions and comments down below for Jessica, and she'll be happy to answer. So Jessica, tell us a bit about your other current and future projects, please.
So at the moment, my focus is really my program. It's like really helping, the most women that I can out there to transform their health in all aspects in their life. So the way I also always approach it is from this holistic point of view. So I think maybe in the future I'm going to even look more into like energies and the spiritual side of things, and also like how how do you say, like, I don't know how you call it in English, but working on like yourself as well, like your personality. I'm not sure if there's actually a term to it, but like really developing yourself, not only in like nutrition but also your mindset, working a lot on your mindset, right? So this is definitely something that I'm looking more into. I'm also looking into incorporating more of like yoga and stuff like this into my program. So I'm thinking of doing like, a yoga teacher training or something like this to really explore more of those kind of sides and really like deliver the best value to my clients when they work with me, so they have the overall approach, and just have more knowledge in that and really dive deeper into the hormonal stuff as well. So I really like, I think I have really good knowledge when it comes to that. But of course, there are doctors out there, and they know stuff where I'm like, still, wow, this is getting really into details. So I really want to know even more than I know now. And then with time, of course, now after my 8-week program, I have my ongoing 4 months, so people can join at any time when they want to, so they can reach out to me. But I'm also planning on creating a program that's going to be kind of like a new year, new me. Once the new year starts, a lot of people, you probably know, they set new intentions, they want to get healthier. So I think it's a great time. And so what I'm thinking is creating like a 3-month program, just what I'm doing now with the 8 weeks, to really get even deeper into that, to really start working on yourself. Very similar to my other programs, but just more into depth in like, okay, who are you? What is it that you want? And how can you sync with your body? And so, of course, incorporating more of the new knowledge that I've gained. So that is probably my next project, but I always have ongoing ideas, right? So I always wonder, I'm also thinking about doing more online classes, doing more workouts. So not only with my clients, but also with my Instagram community and just sharing it with everyone. So I'm thinking about doing that more and just sharing a lot more content. So I'm also thinking about, doing more YouTube content as well. Of course, I have my podcast as well. So there's always stuff to do. It never gets boring. Always a lot of work, but it's great because it's something that I've been wanting to do for so long, and I just see the return. I see the happy faces when I work with my clients. I see how grateful they are. I see how they have transformed their health and all of the tools that we provide them with, and they just feel great with it. So yeah, that is that. But if you ask me in a month, I'm gonna give you like 10 other ideas that I want to do. So it's always like this.
I love it. So I do love the testimonials. I've seen them in your stories, and I say brava to all of you ladies out there and to you, Jessica, because it's life-changing. It really is. I mean, what you're doing. And I just cannot stress enough how impressed I am that you have honed in and zoomed in on hormones, because again, we just don't realize that hormones determine and dictate every single aspect of our existence. We just do not focus on that enough. So tell us a bit more, please, about your podcast and your YouTube channel. Tell us, like, if someone says, well, do I really want to listen to that podcast series or her YouTube? What's the content or the focus on those two platforms?
Yeah, definitely. So my YouTube is very much still a lot of content about like vegan beginners, how to be vegan, all of that kind of stuff. Now I want to build it more into having more content around, recipes and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm still developing the idea. So I do have a lot of content on there already, but I'm trying to build it out more. Whereas my podcast is really an ongoing project that is going on all of the time. So every week there's a new episode coming up, usually on Fridays. And it's the Seeking Veganism podcast. So basically, it's all about the vegan diet, but also now I'm focusing a lot on hormonal health as well. So basically, I do interview my clients as well. So I have them on my podcast as well, ask them about their journey, or also, of course, within the program, but about their vegan journey. And then, I talk a lot about, how to optimize your health through your hormones, how you can sync with your cycle, what steps can you take, how your nutrition should look like, how you should be training. I do also interview other people. So I have, a lot of awesome friends that I interviewed as well on my podcast that are all, of course, vegan. And it's just so much fun. It's beautiful. It's really like you get it all, right? You get it all from like for vegan beginners, if you're a woman, if you're a man, like I have it all from like the health aspect, training aspect, mindset aspect as well, energy. So I had one of my friends, Jenna, she's absolutely amazing. And she is, it's even hard to describe what she is. She's like a spiritual mindset coach, but she's absolutely amazing. And I had her on my podcast as well. And she also talked about, you know, energies and the way she went vegan and how the energies that the animals feel, like how you get them into your body as well when you consume them or these products. And it was a great episode. And then we also talked about, you know, periods and how she actually healed herself from PCOS and endometriosis, where a lot of doctors will tell you it's impossible to heal yourself from it. She did it. And so, as you can see, there's a lot of knowledge on this podcast, and I'm a big fan of my own podcast. I don't, of course, listen to my episodes because I already record them, I edit them, I get them uploaded. So I'm just like, now it's out there in the world. But I get a lot of positive feedback from it just because it's like, again, it's all of it, right? You don't only get like one specific sector, you get it all, and you can just learn so much from it, I believe. And I wish I would have like had more of these kind of insights when I went vegan. So this was my purpose when I started it. I wanted this podcast to be easy and accessible for people that are thinking about becoming vegan and what they can do to feel great and what kind of foods to eat and, you know, what they should be doing, because there hasn't been a lot when I was vegan. There were not a lot of podcasts, I believe.
No, and the turning point for you when you you know, switched to a vegan diet, it really was, I think, the blossoming of what we know as the vegan movement, at least I will say, let's say in the marketplace, in marketing and restaurants and cafes, and just the whole, you know, blossoming just on social media. To be honest with you, I think in the last 3 years, I just think like it's just everywhere, you know, like even a person who like lives in a bubble, I think like nowadays in the last couple of years or so, it would be super hard to avoid learning something about veganism. So yeah. I definitely think that, you know, the turning point for you was a pivotal moment, I think, in the vegan movement, but also it's super awesome that you are thinking of people who are starting off their journey and they're like, well, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know any other vegans. Please help me. So tell us again, what is the name of your podcast, and also tell us where it can be found.
So it's called the Seeking Veganism Podcast, and you can basically find it on Apple Podcasts, on iTunes, on Stitcher, and on Spotify. And I believe everyone has Spotify today. So it's just easy. You just type in this Seeking Veganism Podcast, and you get right to my latest episode. And I do have many episodes right now. I don't even know how many, but yeah. So there's something for everyone for sure.
And I also like that you have some of your episodes on your IGTV. Now, my question is, are all of your podcast episodes also on IGTV? Or, okay, I didn't think so.
No.
Okay.
No, it was too complicated also with doing virtual, you know, interviews and stuff like this. It was very complicated to record it all as well with videos. So at some point, you know, and sometimes when you work from home, all you want to do is be there in your PJs and record a podcast episode without anyone seeing you. To be honest, I'm going to be very honest here. And I'm just like, I'm not going to put my camera out right now. I'm just like going to record this and like, you know, just the way I look right now. So yeah. That happens a lot of the times. And I think these are the kind of best podcast episodes because you wake up in the morning, you're like, the day didn't even start yet, and you have an inspiration to do something great, and you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it, you know, not think about it. And Jenna just joined. Jenna, we just talked about you. So yeah, Jenna is my friend that I interviewed for my podcast. So
awesome. Hi, Jenna. Awesome. All right. Well, we have 6 minutes left. So tell everybody, please, I want to know a little bit more about fitness, because you're super, super fit, number one, and you're really helping people, number two. So tell us about your fitness, but also we need to get in here, how is the best way for people to contact you for information, collaborations?
Yes, the best way to contact me, definitely through Instagram. I'm always there, always responding to people. So just send me a DM. it's the best way I'm going to see it. If you're interested in working with me, also same thing, send me a DM or apply directly to my program. So there is a link directly in my bio to apply. And if you want to, you know, first get talking and find out more about it, again, just send me a DM and we're going to, you know, send some voice notes around. I'm always there to connect, and I love connecting with people. Even if you don't want to join my program and you just want to talk to me, I love to connect, right? Because you never know, maybe it's going to be a friendship one day, right? So I love that. And you asked about the fitness question. So yeah, I was, since I can remember, I think like around 6.
Sorry?
You live right next to the main road?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. It's so busy here.
I do too.
Oh,
So
I apologize. I apologize on behalf of the city.
No, all
Truly.
good. All
Yeah.
good. I can completely relate.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so it's funny because as a kid, I really hated sports in school. I hated everything that had to do anything with sports, but I used to dance a lot. So I was a dancer. I really enjoyed dancing and doing musicals and stuff. And then like, I think at the age of 16, 17, I started working out at home and doing a little bit more like, okay, you know, muscle building and like really getting into those things. And so I started getting more into fitness and just really loving to enjoy the aspect of, okay, you can actually, you know, shape the body that you want with working the right muscles, eating the right way, and just staying lean overall. Of course, if you have more muscle mass, like you're more likely to stay leaner and it's easier to stay leaner and all of these kind of things. And I just really started enjoying, you know, not only fitness, but like yoga, Pilates, running, you know, just being very active. And now, of course, the way I do that is, as I already told you, like I really try to sync with my cycle, and I didn't do that for too long, and I wish I would have. But the way I approach it now, because now I know that there are certain things that work for my body and certain things that don't work for my body. So the way I really try to approach is it always like, okay, I'm going to push myself hard when I feel good. And it's usually around, you know, my follicular ovulatory phase where I'm like, okay, I can go to the gym, I can do some heavy weightlifting. But when I approach my period, I really take it slow, right? I really just walk, or I do some yoga, I do some Pilates, something that really doesn't make me sweat too much and like doesn't, right? So this is the way I approach this. But I'm a big fan of fitness, and I'm hoping that, because at the moment my hormones are still not 100% in balance, so I'm still working on that, right? So of course it doesn't happen in 2 years, like it can take you longer to do that. So I'm still working on that. And the way you have to, or, you know, people should be working on that, is to really slow down and really sync with your cycle. And then when you start feeling good, you can pick up. So there was a time where I didn't do at all any weight training, just because I was so exhausted that I couldn't at all do it, right? So that is super important to really just understand what it is. And many doctors or professionals out there that are hormone specialists are going to tell you as well, if you are struggling with hormonal, like crazy hormonal disbalances, you should be slowing down your workouts a lot, because it puts, you know, extra stress on your body. So you should always look from that side of things as well, to really understand what is going on in your body, and then, you know, act upon it.
Awesome. All right, it's giving me the countdown. I have a minute, a minute and 15 seconds left. Roll along. Jessica, I want to thank you immensely for taking the time to come on and share your experience, your knowledge with us, and your program. Everyone who's on here, please check out Jessica. She has a lot to offer. I see a lot of guys on here as well. You know, she can help guys too, but of course, women, remember, women are half the sky, we're half of the population.
Yes.
And so I do want to thank you immensely, Jessica, for all that you're doing. And I am going to save the replay. So for those who couldn't join for the full time, they will have the replay. And I'll put it in stories and on in my feed as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for, you know, reaching out to me. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed this, and we should do this another time as well, because I really loved it. Thank you so much.
I want to hear more about your